Welcome
to the Age of Awakening.
Please identify yourself. Enter.
Hey, what's up, Triple P Nation? It's another installment on how to optimize your health to maximize your life. You know, we've talked a lot over the last month or so, some really key issues. I know you guys have been following the journey with a couple of great interviews in the middle there. But I want to talk about an issue today that is really ever discussed. I know you're not sitting around with your buddies hanging out, talking about circadian rhythms or going out for coffee and, hey, how's your circadian rhythms? And so the reason I want to bring this up is because it's something that's really not discussed often or even understood what the hell it is. But I want you to understand that it is important and it's impacting you each and every day. And if you don't understand it, it could be leading to a lot of the issues that we've discussed previously. So let's start by really identifying, first of all, what are circadian rhythms? So they are your natural internal processes that regulate the sleep cycle and repeat roughly every 24 hours. So it's a cycle of rhythms over a 24-hour period of time. And if you ever experience sleep disturbances when the clock is moved forward or behind in the fall and the spring, that's your circadian rhythms getting disrupted. So you're not imagining something, it's real, it's happening, and it's the circadian rhythms that's being affected. Now, these rhythms are controlled by the suprachiasmatic nucleus in your hypothalamus, that's in your brain, which respond to light and other environmental cues that regulate body functions like hormone release, metabolism, cognitive function, things like that. So, let's talk specifically about how your circadian rhythms impact your health. Well, for one, it affects your sleep. Another, as I mentioned, it impacts your hormone function. It affects your metabolic health. Again, about a month or so ago, did a whole episode on metabolic insufficiency and metabolic syndrome. So this ties right into that. Again, it affects your mental performance. It affects your energy, your cognition, your memory. Also, it's going to impact longevity and recovery. So your ability just to recover from the normal daily stresses, whether you're working out or not, is significantly impacted. So I'm going to get into a little bit more detail. I want you to give an understanding how this is affecting, what does it come from, and then I'll give you some useful options and tools how you can begin to change and modify this. So when you are sitting around with your buddies or your friends and having a cup of coffee, you can talk to them. Hey, how's your circadian rhythms? Now, think about circadian rhythms as the power of light. You see, light and its profound impact on your circadian rhythms and really your overall health in general is affected often and neglected in conventional, by your medical doctors. Yet it is really a very fundamental bodily function that, again, very little attention is given to. We know light is a powerful environmental cue that dictates your body's rhythms. It influences everything from your sleep wake cycles to your hormone production and even mitochondrial function. We are constantly bathed in different forms of light, both visible and invisible. So, therefore, understanding how these frequencies interact with our bodies is really essential for us to optimize our health. So, I want is to essentially point out for you that even the seemingly simple act of getting sunlight exposure is far more complex and beneficial than you might realize. Sunlight isn't just about vitamin D. It really is a full spectrum of light frequencies. It includes infrared and ultraviolet, each playing a unique role in our biology. Your mitochondria, which we said is the powerhouse of your cells, are incredibly sensitive to light and utilize different frequencies for optimal function. Now, this perspective shifts the focus from avoiding bad light to actively seeking good light as a nutrient for health. I'll get into that in a minute. Now, interesting, recent research underscores the idea that your body is fundamentally an electromagnetic system, highly responsive to light frequencies in our environment. Which brings me to a point. I was just listening to a podcast of a very famous podcaster. You guys all probably know who this is. And he was talking about RFKJ's proposal to eliminate cell phones out of schools. And his thought was, great idea, eliminate the distraction. Kids should be focused on reading, writing, and arithmetic. Totally agree with that, right? But he said his reasoning, his underlying reasoning behind eliminating cell phones out of school was the exposure to EMFs. And he went off. He's like, oh, that's all bullshit. There's really scant kind of evidence about that. And I'm thinking, you know what? You are totally wrong about that because there are volumes of research on the impact of EMFs, cellular health, longevity, cognitive function, and even cancer. So if you have listened to this individual, I'm not going to call him out, but just know there is volumes of research and it's available to you if you want it. So let's get back to the mitochondrial side, right? As we mentioned, it's the powerhouse of the cell. It's the key to reversing and preventing most chronic diseases. Now, these little tiny organelles are not just energy producers, they're dynamic responders to our environment, particularly to light, and they play a much broader role in your health than you may expect. So imagine your mitochondria as miniature engines within each of your cells. And these engines are responsible for generating the energy you need to live and thrive every single day. But they're not just simple engines. Our mitochondria are incredibly sophisticated, utilizing electronic transport chain to produce energy in the form of ATP and a special type of water called metabolic water. Now, this process involves a flow of electrons, which in essence is electricity at the cellular level. Now, interestingly, this flow of electrons also generates a magnetic field within your mitochondria. This magnetic field is important for attracting oxygen, which is essential for energy production and for containing reactive oxygen species within the mitochondria. When your mitochondria are functioning optimally, this process is really efficient and supports overall cellular well being. However, factors like exposures to EMFs, okay, electromagnetic fields, which we'll discuss in depth in just a minute, is going to disrupt this delicate balance. Our mitochondria, as both antennas and emitters of electromagnetic frequencies, they're not only powerhouses, but also sophisticated sensors that detect and respond to the electromagnetic environment that exists all around us, including different light frequencies. This highlights the importance of considering the light in our environment, both natural and artificial, as really the key factors in our mitochondrial health and consequently to our energy levels, our cellular function, and long term health. So, if you've been someone who's been suffering with energy levels and you've done all the other things that we suggested, this could be the key, the last part of that puzzle. So, now I want to get into the dangers of the EMS. Artificial EMFs emanating from modern technologies like our Wi Fi, cellular phones, wireless devices, it really negatively impacts your mitochondria and your overall health. This is a topic I've discussed at length on many different shows. I've had guests on it, we've talked about it. But I want you to understand in particular the EMFs impact your kids at a greater level than adults. Why? Primarily, especially when it comes to cell phones, their skulls aren't thick enough yet. And so it permeates into the brain much easier, affecting the neurons of the brain. Also, their cells are radically changing so quickly as they're growing. So the impact on kids is even greater than it is on adults. Our EMF exposure decreases our mitochondrial membrane potential, and that's an indicator of mitochondrial health. Now, this disruption leads to a cascade of negative effects, including increased oxidative stress and impaired cellular function. This is the principle called the inverse square law, which simply means the closer you are to an EMF source, the stronger the signal, the greater the harm. Research, get this, was funded by the military and initially explored the use of electrobiology for healing and regeneration. However, in the findings, it took a concerning turn when it was discovered that the EMFs could promote tumor growth and hinder wound healing in animal models. See, I told you there's research and a lot more than that. Now, despite this groundbreaking work, the funding was abruptly pulled. Of course, it was after it was attempted to raise awareness about the dangers, but they wanted to put it off to the side so it never was brought light to the public. And again, there's so many studies, particularly that they did in the UK, and the impact of EMFs from cell phones and brain tumors. Okay, so let's talk about the practical steps to reduce our EMF exposures. While the dangers of EMS seem daunting, right? Because it's everywhere. How do you get away from it? It's almost impossible. I want to talk about some practical and actionable steps to minimize your exposure in your daily life. These are just small changes in your daily habits that you can make that could have a significant difference in reducing your overall EMF burden, protecting your mitochondria. It's not about eliminating, guys, right? It's not about eliminating your technology, but rather it's using conscious strategies. Now, one of the simplest yet most impactful changes you can make is to the distance you put yourself close to the EMF source. So, for instance, avoid holding your cell phone directly to your ear. Instead, use the speakerphone to create distance. Similarly, avoid carrying your phone in your pocket. Ladies, don't put it in your sports bra. I see this all the time at health facilities. What are you doing? Right? You're literally putting radiation directly into your hearts. Not good, right? And if you're trying to get pregnant, ladies, keep it out of your waistband, right? Or a fanny pack or whatever the hell they call those things now, or your sweatshirt. Obviously, you just want it off your body. But when using your laptop, right, or other wireless devices, same thing. Don't put them directly on your lap. Use a desk, use a table instead. As for your Wi Fi, I want you to consider putting your router on a timer to turn it off automatically at night when you're sleeping. This way, you're not getting bombarded with EMFs for 6 to 8 hours at night. You're not using it, turn it off. This is a really simple step that will significantly reduce your nighttime exposure. And when possible, opt out for wire connections. Go to Ethernet cables, right? Now, while less is convenient, these wire connections reduce your exposure to wireless radiation in your home or your workspace. So let's talk about the importance of sunlight and how it provides your daily dose of mitochondrial fuel. If you're a regular listener, guys, you know, right? I'm a strong advocate for regular sun exposure. It really is a key nutrient for mitochondrial and overall well-being. Sunlight is such a powerful tool of energy that our body is designed to utilize it. It needs it to be well. It delivers both infrared and UV frequencies, both of which are important for mitochondrial function. Near infrared light, present throughout the day, even in shade, penetrates deeply into your body and stimulates what's called the cytochrome C oxidate. This is an important complex in the mitochondrial electron transport chain. This stimulation boosts electron flow, enhancing ATP production and the creation of deuterium depleted metabolic water, which is important for cellular hydration. However, indoor environments, now we know our indoor environments are really lacking near infrared light, as energy efficient lighting really doesn't contain it, right? And coated window glass reflects it. This means you're likely missing out on this important frequency, especially if you spend a lot of your day indoors. Now, conversely, spending time outdoors, even in the shade, ensures you're going to receive a healthy dose of near infrared light, nourishing mitochondria to support your cellular health. So, let me touch on further the importance of UV light, particularly UVB, in relation to melanin. So the sun provides UVA and UVB. UVA is the damaging ray that does damage to your skin. UVB is what activates melanin in your skin for the production of vitamin D. We know UVB light is essential for vitamin D production. Now, there are pathways that lead to the production of what's called alpha melanocyte, which stimulates the hormone MSH, which stimulates melanin production. It reduces appetite, increases your energy and expenditure, and beta endorphin, which makes you feel good, improves your mood, reduces pain, and enhances immune function. Think of it as human photosynthesis, suggesting melanin plays a role in harnessing UV light to split water and generate energy, similar to chlorophyll in plants. Really, it's kind of a cool theory, right? It underscores the complex and beneficial relationship between UV light and your body. With the understanding of sunlight's importance, the question then becomes, how do you optimize your sun exposure to reap maximum benefit without causing harm? I need you to understand this. Sun is not the problem. It's the length of exposure that's the problem. The sun is good for you. It's great for you. It's the exposure, particularly certain times of the day. Now, the best way to determine your sun exposure is by using vitamin D levels as a biomarker for your sun exposure habits. Optimal vitamin D levels achieved without supplementation are a really good indicator if you're getting sufficient UV light. Ideally, right, we want to maximize our vitamin D levels 60 to 80 nanograms per milliliter. So when you get your vitamin D levels tested, if you don't fall in that range, you're definitely not getting, assuming, right, you're not supplementing sufficient amount. And the lower the amount is, the more sunlight you need and or supplementation. And we know vitamin D is just one piece of the sunlight puzzle. There's an important factor to consider. Also, again, spent a whole show on this about 3 weeks ago, dietary seed oils. These oils are really prevalent in processed foods, right? Like fast foods. And these fast foods are rich in what's called linoleic acid. When linoleic acid interacts with the sun's UV radiation, it triggers inflammation and the DNA damages in your skin. If you consume these oils regularly, as many of us do, right? It's everywhere. We need to be more cautious about sun exposure. So we know the linoleic acid, we know this seed oils are causing oxidative stress, and that oxidative stress goes directly to the skin, is exposed to the sun, and it causes massive damage to the skin. So the best thing to do, right, is get off the seed oils. And then you want to avoid direct sunlight, particularly between 10 and 4 p.m. Doesn't mean you can't be out. It's when the sun is at its strongest. And again, it's not the sun, it's the length. So if you're going to be outside, you don't want to get to the point where you're pink or red, or maybe just slightly pink. If you start to notice, then it's time to cover up. What'll happen is over time, you start to build kind of a threshold, and you can start to spend more and more time in the sun if you do it gradually. So begin reducing your consumption of seed oils over the next few months, right? Especially as we start to move into summer. To avoid sunburns and to maximize beneficial effects of the sun, it's best to take that gradual approach and build up what's called your solar callus, right? Solar callus. Start with short periods and then begin to expand it out over time. I also recommend starting your day with sunrise light. Yeah, get outside in the morning when that sun is rising. The sky is rich in red infrared, and it prepares your skin for midday sun. The morning light exposure also plays a role in getting and setting your circadian rhythm for the day. But I want you to understand melanin plays a more active role in human photosynthesis and is a powerful antioxidant detoxifier. If you have darker skin, maybe like me, you need more sun exposure to achieve optimal vitamin D levels and other sunlight benefits due to melanin's light absorbing properties. Understanding your skin type, that's the key. Gradually increase your exposure, reduce your linoleic acid, right? Your seed oils in your diet is the key to safely effective harnessing the power of the sunlight for you and your health. Besides, it feels good. So, your circadian rhythm really is your internal timekeeper. That's what I really want you to get one of the takeaways here. We need to understand that the role light plays in regulating our internal clock. And I want to offer you some actionable strategies for optimizing those circadian rhythms, which has far reaching impacts, right? As everything we talked about. Think of your circadian rhythm as your body's internal timekeeper, synchronizing your biology from day to night, day over day. Light is the primary cue that sets your circadian rhythm. So let me emphasize the importance of morning sunlight exposure, particular sunrise light, for anchoring your circadian clock. Morning sunlight, with its specific wavelengths of blue, UVA, red light, signals to the brain and the body that it's daytime, initiating the processes associated with wakefulness, energy production, and even digestion. Consistent morning light exposure is key to regulating sleep wake cycles and optimizing daytime functions. During the day, seek bright, full spectrum light. Indoor environments often fall short, especially in providing sufficient light intensity and spectrum compared to natural daylight. You can increase light exposure indoors using full spectrum lights, aiming for at least 10,000 lux in your workspace. Now, I've been able to do that here. It's not that hard. You can certainly make that happen. And whenever possible, guys, go outside, work outdoors, take your computer, get one of the reflective screens on there so you can get some exposure to natural daylight throughout the day. Even on cloudy days, you're still going to get exposure to those UV lights, even through the clouds. If you can't get outside, try cracking open a window to let the unfiltered sunlight shine into your facility, into your room, wherever you are, to improve your indoor light environment, allowing the beneficial UVA and near infrared light to enter into the room. On the other end of the cycle, you want to minimize the blue light exposure in the evening, right? It's so important, especially when it comes to balancing healthy circadian rhythms. The blue light, which is emitted from screens, your phones, your computers, your laptops, your iPads, whatever it might be, this suppresses your melatonin production. This is what disrupts your sleep cycle. This is what hinders nighttime recovery process. So the next day, you do not feel rested and wakeful and energetic and healed, ready to take on the day to its fullest capacity. It's really important to block the blue light in the evening by using blue light blocking glasses, installing blue light filters on your devices, and optimizing for warmer, dimmer lighting in your home, especially as it gets dark in those longer, darker days. So let's start prioritizing sunlight exposure and minimizing exposure to artificial EMFs and blue light at night so you can take more intentional approach in directly supporting your cellular health. Small, consistent changes in your daily habits accumulate over time, leading to significant improvements long term. And who doesn't want that? So, by understanding the science and embracing these natural principles, you're going to address the root causes of many of these health issues and be proactive in building a foundation for vibrant and vitalistic well being. So, there's a few other things I want to cover here as far as how to optimize your circadian rhythms, right? We talked about natural light. We didn't talk about optimizing mealtime. Do you know eating your meals at a consistent time throughout the day actually helps maintain normal circadian rhythms? Align your largest meals in the daylight and smaller meals at night. We talked about managing your light exposure. Of course, leveraging exercise and movement. Morning workouts help reinforce your circadian alignment. Now, if you can't work out in the mornings, you can work out in the evening, the exercise is more important than the time. But if you can optimize in the morning, it's best for your rhythm. Avoid intense workouts, especially a couple hours before you go to bed, because this is going to elevate your cortisol levels and screw up your rhythms. Try walking after your meal, especially at night, to improve digestion and blood flow. Another really important one is hormonal balance. You got to maintain a consistent bedtime routine to optimize your melanin production. You can use supplements like magnesium, even glycine, if you're struggling to sleep. Another really important one is peptides like CJC 1295 and ipamorelin can be used to support hormone release, especially when used strategically. Now, I have mentioned I'm going to be doing an episode entirely on peptides. I've been putting all the content and information together. You guys have reached out, been asking about it. We've just implemented it into our clinic. It is absolutely remarkable. It is the cutting edge. It is the future in regenerative health and wellness. But at the core foundational piece of that is hormone optimization. So think of hormone optimization as the foundation to the house. peptide therapy is furnishing that house, kind of finishing it up, giving the final touches, making it look good. And then the final recommendation that can help improve your rhythms is intermittent fasting, right? Small windows of eating, whether it's 6 to 8 hours, and then you're fasting anywhere from 12 to 16 hours. Also, keep your bedroom cool. We sleep much better in a cooler environment. If you can keep it as low as 60, I keep our bedroom at 63. My wife hates it. She got 16 blankets on. I'm sitting there in a sheet. But I sleep so much better in a colder environment. Also, cold plunging, cold showers can also help balance your circadian clock. So, final takeaway here is optimizing these rhythms isn't just about sleep. It's about your energy, it's about your metabolism, it's about your longevity, your overall daily performance. So, you need to align your lifestyle with your natural biological clock so it can better help you recover, improve your body comp, mental clarity, everything. So I hope you know more about circadian rhythms than you ever did. Great party conversation next time you're out with some buds or friends. Ask them about their circadian rhythms and what they know about it. You'll be the smartest person in the room. So once again, I appreciate you guys taking time each week to sit down and let me have a conversation with you. If you have any questions about this topic or any other topics we had recently, email me, Dr. J at Triple P Life, Dr. J at Triple P Life, or you can find me on any of the social media platforms at Dr. J LaGuardia. I will be doing another Q&A episode here coming up. So if there's something you want to ask me about any of the content we did, anything that's going on, email me there, message me, DM me, text me, send me smoke signals, whatever you need to do. I'd love to answer your questions on air. I can keep it anonymous if you want. If you want me to use your name, I'll use that as well too. We got one of those episodes coming up here shortly. Looking forward to that. The last one was a whole lot of fun. And again, make sure you go to YouTube. If you haven't checked us out on YouTube, you can see my face over there. Maybe you don't want to see my face. You just want to keep it audio only. But if you want to, go over to YouTube. Of course, hit subscribe, follow, like, send a comment in there. We'd love to respond to you. So again, guys, thanks for taking time this week. Always appreciate it. And as I always say, you be you. Just be the best you. And I promise you will always empower your dreams, ignite your passion, and accelerate your prosperity. Be well till next week.